Welcome into today's show, Browns fans. I'm your host, Joey O'Donohue, hosting the Browns Report here. And I think we got to look at some free agents that are coming up that the Cleveland Browns could go ahead and target after a sleepy trade deadline day. There's a lot of names that we could still go out and sign. And there's some holes we need to fill this offseason. Let's take a look, Browns fans. We'll talk about it together. Get your opinions. I'll give you the names. But first, can we hit that subscribe button, please? Because we're really about to hit 58,000. Can we do it today on today's show? We're literally just 200 people away from doing it. What do you get? Daily, free Brown shows. That's right. It's free to hit that sub button. We're almost at 58K. Join the party. Join the family. The 57,790 people that already have. Be part of the party. All right, let's go through some offensive linemen first. We're going to start with an offensive tackle, Braxton Jones of the Chicago Bears. Free agent in 2026. And what does Cleveland need more than anything? Well, probably offensive tackles, specifically left tackle is what Braxton Jones would bring to the Cleveland Browns. Scouting report on Jones. He's good at run blocking. Judkins, obviously, having a phenomenal season so far, at least showing flashes of greatness as a rookie running back. Our guards have been pretty good. It's the tackles on the outside. Jones is a serviceable left tackle that would be a good short-term answer for the Browns. Now, he's not the best anchor, per se, right? Maybe some pass protection needs work, which is what scares me a little bit about Braxton Jones because that's where Cleveland has struggled, is pass protection. But like I said, and like I've heard, it'd be a good short-term answer. I still think you'd want to draft somebody else if you got Braxton Jones. Braden Smith of the Indianapolis Colts, though, has been balling, and so has the Colts run game and even the Colts pass game. I mean, that offensive line looks stronger than I've ever seen it, ladies and gentlemen. And Braden Smith, well, he could play on the right side for the Cleveland Browns. Right tackle is only allowed 1 sack so far this season. And look at what Jonathan Taylor's doing. Look at what Daniel Jones is doing. Now, Jones came back to himself against the Steelers, started turning the ball over. But the fact that this Colts offensive line could make Daniel Jones look good and make Jonathan Taylor, who's already a great running back, play at an MVP level, that's the kind of tackle we need in Cleveland. Someone that can help our rookies develop, specifically under center. Let me know, Browns fans. Let me know. Now, we also got to talk about Browns offensive linemen that are on contract years. That includes Wyatt Teller, who we know wants to remain in Cleveland and has serviced many great years with the Cleveland Browns. Pro Bowls, all pros. Teller said before the trade deadline, I hope I don't get traded. I want to retire a Cleveland Brown. Now, Andrew Berry and the Browns front office actually have created a good amount of cap space for this year, restructuring contracts, including Denzel Ward's. And so we do have cap to sign players in free agency and potentially bring some back. Wyatt Teller is one I'd like to see. Joel Bitonio also on that list. Bitonio a little bit older, though, but he also has been vocal about wanting to retire a Cleveland Brown. So you have to factor these two guards into the equation, Browns fans. But that doesn't solve our tackles issue, does it? One that I think could really help Cleveland. Oh, if he's available, you talk about a free agent target, Jermaine Eluemunor of the New York Giants. He has been balling at tackle, helping Jackson Dart develop quicker than ever, helping Scatabo look like a beast before he got hurt. If we can get Jermaine in Cleveland, it's going to be tough because I think Big Blue wants to sign him to a long-term extension. But he would be a dream target right here. Of the offensive linemen that are free agents, there's not a whole lot to choose from, but there's a few good ones. So pick your favorite in the comment section right now, Browns fans. If you're in on Braxton Jones, give a BJ, BS for Braden Smith, Wyatt Teller, WT, Joel Bitonio type of JB, and finally Jermaine Eluemunor, give me a JE. Look at the list, pick your favorite, type the initials. Who do you want the Cleveland Browns to go out and get? Offensive linemen covered. Wide receivers are the next big position need for the Cleveland Browns. The most talented wide receiver on the list is George Pickens of 2026 free agents. Browns fans, you might hate him, though. I'm not a big fan of his character. His talent, though, is undeniable. I mean, his career, he has showed some flashes of greatness, not just with his stats. 2023, obviously, had over 1,000 yards. He's racked up touchdowns each year of his career as well. But just the eye test, as a pure athlete, Pickens has made some of the best catches I've seen. And he's a super talent in the league. However, he is a hothead, nutcase. And do you remember this, Browns fans, on November 21st, snow game, where we beat Pittsburgh? And on the final Hail Mary attempt from Russell Wilson, Pickens just starts picking a fight with Newsome. I mean, he's got no self-control. He's a diva. And he's a former Pittsburgh Steeler. So even though the talent is there, I don't know that we should target the most talented wide receiver in free agency. There's plenty of other great talents. That includes Jakobi Meyers, who also has excelled in the National Football League. And Cleveland was not able to trade for Jakobi. The Jags got a pretty good deal because he's been balling as well in his career. And the Raiders, not utilizing him enough, he got frustrated. He said, I want out of there. Just last year, he was a 1,000-yard receiver, folks. 8 touchdowns the year before. Jags didn't have to pay too much for him. Jags seem like they're on a push to try and make some noise this season. Well, in the offseason, when the Cleveland Browns start to fix their needs, I think Jakobi Meyers is a name to look at. Now we could actually get him without having to give up any of our draft compensation. Instead, sign him to a deal, see how much he wants. Alec Pierce is a name of the Indianapolis Colts, who I've always really liked, to be honest with you. Even when Flacco was part of the Colts, I looked at Pierce and I was like, he got some long receptions. He's a young wide receiver that could absolutely help Cleveland in a room that needs help. Now, this year, he's had a 50-yard pop. That's just what I'm talking about. Already got 500 yards on the season. And he's a taller receiver. He's 6'3", and he's young. When he hits free agency, I think he'll be a cheaper option as compared to a Pickens or Meyers, but could also make an impact right away for the Cleveland Browns as a tall, deep threat. Something that would help Gabriel or Shador, or if they decide to draft another rookie quarterback. You're going to need some targets for them next season. That's why we're going through wide receivers. And the next one on this list is coming up very shortly here on the show. Do not go anywhere. We've got some more targets coming up in 2026, including 2 more wide receivers. You're not going to miss some of these names. Quarterbacks as well. That's right. I got some insight for you, Browns fans. But first, let me tell you that this episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. The hard-hitting football action is even better with Prize Picks. The weather might be changing, but the feeling of being right never gets old. So keep the season rolling on Prize Picks by getting $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. Football is in full swing now on Sundays. All is right with the world, and I'm big into daily fantasy with Prize Picks. I'm obsessed with it because it makes all the games more entertaining. And before the Browns play, I lock in on all my players in my lineup and their player projections. Prize Picks is simple to play. Just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats. If you get your picks right, you could cash in. You can also follow other Prize Picks players directly on the app and copy their lineups in one click. Whether it's a friend, a celebrity partner, or just someone whose picks you like, hit the follow button and check out every lineup they create in the new feed tab on Prize Picks. You might find my lineup in there, and you might find Quinshon Judkins on it every single week because I've got him going for more than 79.5 rushing yards. Also, give me Jackson Dart more than half a passing touchdown. Bryce Young more than half a passing touchdown. Some of my favorite picks to make are quarterbacks on Prize Picks. So download the app today and use code CLNS. You get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. It'd be good if the Browns make the right decisions in free agency as well. Did you know that Romeo Doubs is a free agent in 2026, ladies and gentlemen? Oh, Romeo, where are you, Romeo? We need someone in Cleveland to help out that room. And Doubs has already made a good impact this year for the Packers, and as he's a physical receiver that I'd like to have in this room. The Packers, I mean, look at him. He's got 4 touchdowns, over 400 yards, 52 targets in 8 games played. Romeo Doubs is someone that not only would benefit Cleveland, but has emerged in the Packers wide receiver room that is somewhat crowded with a lot of similar players. I mean, now they have Matthew Golden in that mix as well. Christian Watson is no longer on the pup. He's active and ready to go. Jaden Reed in that mix as well. Dontavian Wicks, who's a free agent for Green Bay, and Romeo Doubs. I mean, are you going to be able to retain all 5 of those receivers? And if not, Cleveland can go after Doubs or Wicks. Doubs probably the harder one to get, but that's because he's the more talented one. And I would love to see him here in Cleveland. He's wearing that Guardian cap. Bring him over. Packers have a lot of room to work with in the wide receiver room. They could afford to let Cleveland get one. Finally, we're going to talk about Jalen Coker, young wide receiver in Carolina, who also would be a cheaper option, I think, for the Cleveland Browns. But I've seen him make an impact in Carolina in his career. This season, they've underutilized him, I would say. Only having played in 3 games so far, and you see the numbers, nothing eye-popping. But I think that in a better scheme fit for him, which I don't know if that's the Cleveland Browns, but I do think that, like I said, Panthers have not unleashed him yet this season. He's a young, talented wide receiver, also a little bit taller, over 6 foot. I think he's a big target that could help out, again, either quarterback that Cleveland decides to roll with. So take a look at the names. Tell me who you'd want, Browns fans. But these are the wide receivers you're probably looking at in free agency. Y'all already know I want Carnell Tate in the NFL draft. But give me which wide receiver the Browns should target in free agency as well. Comment the name below. What do you think? And do you still hate George Pickens? Because I don't know if I want that nutcase on my football team. Let me know which Browns wide receiver they should target, ladies and gentlemen. All right, because I know the Cleveland Browns, I'm going to show you the free agent quarterbacks, some of the older ones. And knowing Cleveland, don't be shocked when the news hits breaking Cleveland Browns sign one of these old names. Russell Wilson, Marcus Mariota, going to be free agents. Kenny Pickett, I'm just going to list them. I'm not going to say anything about it. He's gone. Carson Wentz, this one I could really actually see the Cleveland Browns going out and picking up. Tyrod Taylor returning to the Browns as well, possibility. The reason I show you these names is because think about what Cleveland did last season, right? Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett were on the roster in preseason. This year, it could literally be a Carson Wentz and Trey Lance. Take those 2 places. Jimmy G, guy who went to a couple Super Bowls. Gardner Minshew, Tommy DeVito, Sam Howell. I'm just saying, Cleveland's probably going to sign a veteran quarterback of some nature. Otherwise, oldest quarterback on your roster is going to be younger than me. So imagine they bring someone in, a veteran, just like they did last year with Flacco and Pickett. So those are the names that you should look out for, Browns fans. I think it'll be interesting to see which one they actually go ahead and sign in free agency. A couple more notable free agents that I'm going to run through here. It's kind of funny, but Greg Newsome is a free agent this season, and that's why I think you look at the deal that Cleveland made with Jacksonville and Tyson Campbell being signed to an extension and already playing better in a couple games with the Browns than he was in Jacksonville this season. It just shows that was a W for the Browns. Good move by Andrew Berry. Swap corners. One's already signed. Newsome's a free agent. And Campbell looking a lot better in a man defensive scheme with Jim Schwartz. But if the Browns wanted to reunite Greg Newsome with Cleveland, well, he'll be available. I think that'd be kind of weird, but perhaps they still have a good relationship. David Njoku we got to talk about because, we're obviously looking at this from the perspective of free agents that we want the Browns to target. But that includes some names of their own that are subject to leave in 2026. And Njoku, I feel like we still have not seen the most of him in Cleveland. I've seen so many flashes of talent from David. And, sort of 2023, you started to see a stretch of games where it was like, okay, that's what I'm talking about. Njoku, though, as a talent, I feel like is being underutilized. And if Cleveland cleans house this offseason, he could be someone that emerges. And he wants to be here. He wants to stay here. This is what David Njoku had to say after not getting traded. He said, I'm in Cleveland, baby. I'm not going nowhere. I ain't effing leaving. I'm not leaving ever. At least I hope so. I like that. I like guys that want to be here, guys that have the passion and fire to play for Cleveland. Wyatt Teller had the same type of reaction. David Njoku elated about remaining in Cleveland. Not many guys say that. Not many guys are that hyped up to be in Cleveland. Not many players in the NFL want to go here. So when you have a talented tight end that says, I'm not effing trying to leave, well, now you got me fired up. Now I kind of want to re-sign David Njoku. So start looking that way as well. Cleveland, let me know what you think in the comments, though. Another name I'm going to throw out there is a former Cleveland Brown as well. That's going to be a free agent, Kareem Hunt. Hey, man, I do not foresee us re-signing Jerome Ford. It's going to be the rookie show in the running back room for the Browns going forward. Would a veteran presence help that room? I don't know if Hunt's the guy, though. I mean, I did love him in Cleveland. That 1-2 punch of Chubb and Hunt was the best running back duo in the league, in my opinion. Judkins kind of has a similar play style to Hunt, though, and he's younger, faster. I want to say stronger, but I think it's just the fact that he's young is going to help out a lot. So we kind of have that type of role already, and he's a workhorse running back. Not saying we need Hunt. I just thought I'd throw them out there, give you some notable free agents that were and are linked to the Cleveland Browns at one point. Browns fans, I think the most important thing here, though, is that we need to make a move in free agency since we did not on trade deadline day. Now, Barry did make 3 trades before the deadline, but we still have a lot of areas of need, still have areas of improvement, and you guys know my stance. It's offensive tackles and perhaps a wide receiver is what we should be bringing in. So like the video so that we make a big splash in free agency. It needs to happen, Browns fans. Hit that like button. Don't jinx it. Let's get a big signing coming to Cleveland in 2026, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching this edition of the Browns Report. Obviously, we will keep you covered when the Browns do make some signings. They could still sign some free agents available right now. Perhaps we'll talk about that in a future video. Hit that subscribe button, though, so you don't miss it. Turn your notifications on to be the smartest Browns fan in the room and be the first person to know about Browns news right as it posted. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me here on the Browns Report, and we will see you next time.